got this offer for the Darkness to do it, and we sort of read the comic book and we found a lot of elements there that we really liked. So yeah, so it was the kind of project we wanted to do from a technology standpoint, and the property was really interesting, so you know, it was a good match. Every game we've done has been better than the previous one, and we learn a huge amount of things every time, and then we get progressively more ambitious as well. So I mean, it would be both, you know, a professional and a personal failure if it wasn't as good as Riddick, you know. So that's what we're aiming for. But I mean, the big thing is that both Riddick and this game is very, very story driven, which means that you know, there are some things that you can't sort of take from Riddick, even though we really like them and people really like them. We can't take them, and one of those is the first person sort of melee fighting. The difference is that in Riddick we had a guy in prison, and it was realistic that they didn't have guns in prison. But if you're a mafia hitman, you have access to guns. That's just, you know, especially, you know, it's just the way it is. So if you have guns all the time, you don't walk up and, you know, punch people in the face. You shoot them instead. And
also the whole sneak element of Riddick is kind of gone as well, and that ties to the whole gun thing.
Yeah, so there are a lot of things that are different gameplay-wise because the story demands a difference.
In the beginning of the production, we had to like order huge stacks of comics from the US. We went out on town and tried to like. You had the Darkness, and
it's really hard to find.
At the end of the day, it's a different thing making a video game and making a comic book. You can't tell the story in the same fashion, and you need to. In the comic book, for example, the Darkness powers there aren't as defined, and they don't need to be, because, you know, it's what that particular issue or what that particular story needs. But in the game, we sort of had to set rules and say the Darkness is this, this, and this is what you can do with it, and then invent gameplay mechanics around that. So we had to make a lot of decisions with the property, and they've been super supportive of that. So that's been great.
Yeah, you run into all kinds of weird problems. For example, if you want to show Jack in third person while he is in darkness mode, for example. In the comic, it's like black goo and teeth and coming out from under the bed and from the shadows. But how do you do that in the game? It's really hard. Riddick was much about moving in the shadows and in darkness, and the technique that was used for that in the game is called stencil shadows, which creates really sharp and defined shadows, it works well because you can have like moving light sources in that environment and all that, but it doesn't look. It's hard to get it to look natural just because of these hard edges and everything. But in Darkness we've added like a light map, a traditional technique that makes really beautiful lighted environments. So we have
it obviously makes it possible for us to build larger scale worlds, larger environments.
To me, it feels like we've focused our energies on things that will enhance the experience. In terms of, you know, the characters, the sort of the realness of it.
Yeah. Using the next gen technology to really create emotional impact.
Yeah, I think it's a strong thing also that you actually play this character. That in itself makes you bond with the character. I don't think that I have ever played a game where I did not like the character I was.